There is a village where no one locks their doors, not because nothing dangerous exists beyond the valley, but because an ancient dragon sleeps just outside it. No one remembers the dragon arriving. No one remembers the valley before it. The oldest stone tablets simply begin with the same quiet sentence. Asterisk, the dragon was already asleep. Asterisk, perhaps it had rested there for hundreds of years.
Perhaps thousands.
No one could say with certainty.
Even the oldest stories never spoke of a time when the mountain had not breathed.
For to outsiders, the dragon looked like part of the landscape. Its immense body disappeared beneath forests that had grown over centuries. Pine trees covered its broad shoulders. Wildflowers bloomed across its folded wings every spring. Streams flowed gently between the great curves of its resting form, carrying clear mountain water into the valley below. Only after standing upon the highest cliffs did travelers begin to notice something unusual.
The ridge beside the eastern forest curved too perfectly.
The long hill beyond the river ended in what looked strangely like a sleeping jaw. Farther away, an entire mountain range seemed to form the outline of folded wings stretching toward the horizon.
Then came the realization. The mountain was not a mountain. The valley was not merely a valley.
Everything rested beside a sleeping dragon. Its body was so vast that generations had unknowingly built roads along its scales. Stone bridges crossed valleys formed where its wings met the earth. Ancient cedar forests covered its back so completely that birds nested there without ever knowing what lay beneath. Life continued quietly around it, as it always had. Children raced through fields warmed by the dragon's gentle breathing. Farmers harvested rice from terraces nourished by streams that began somewhere beneath its resting body. Fishermen cast their lines into calm lakes formed beside its enormous claws. To the people of the valley, none of this felt unusual. The dragon was simply part of home. They never worshipped it. They never feared it.
Respect came naturally, much like respecting an old mountain or an ancient cedar that had watched over generations.
Every morning, smoke rose peacefully from village chimneys while soft clouds drifted across the dragon's sleeping form. Every evening, lanterns glowed beneath its quiet shadows. Families gathered for tea and stories. The dragon remained asleep through every season. Spring blossoms covered its wings. Summer rains washed gently across its emerald scales. Autumn painted the forests growing upon its back in deep crimson and gold. Winter snow settled softly along its great haunts until they resembled distant mountain peaks. The valley learned to measure time not by kings or calendars, but by the dragon's breathing. Every few hours, a slow, warm breath drifted across the fields. In winter it melted frost before sunrise.
In autumn it carried the scent of pine through every street.
In spring it scattered cherry blossom petals across the rooftops like pink snow. Even visitors soon discovered themselves waiting quietly for the next gentle breath.
Not because they expected anything extraordinary.
Simply because it made the valley feel alive. There were no walls surrounding the village.
No watchtowers.
No great armies. The people built none of these things.
For no wild beast willingly entered the valley.
Storms curved gently around the mountains before reaching the dragon.
Even wandering travelers often remarked that the air somehow felt calmer here than anywhere else.
The elders always smiled when hearing such observations.
They simply poured another cup of tea.
Some things, they believed, did not require explanation.
They only required appreciation. Yet every child born within the valley eventually asked the same question. The question had been asked for centuries.
Parents asked it. Grandparents asked it. Their grandparents asked it before them. If the dragon protects us, who is protecting the dragon? No one ever found an answer. Perhaps none was needed.
For the dragon had slept peacefully longer than memory itself. Its breathing remained slow.
Its dreams remained undisturbed. The valley flourished beneath its quiet presence. And every generation came to understand the same gentle truth. Some guardians never carry swords. Some never speak. Some simply rest beneath forests older than history, asking for nothing while giving everything. Tonight, as lanterns begin glowing beneath the dragon's sleeping wings and mist rises gently from the valley floor, we will wander through that peaceful place together, a place where the oldest guardian in the world has slept for so long that an entire village has forgotten what it feels like to live without the comfort of its breathing. The village has no official name upon most maps. Travelers usually refer to it by whatever they remember first: the Valley of the Sleeping Dragon, the Dragon's Rest, the Quiet Valley, the Village Beneath the Wings. None of these names are incorrect, yet none of them are the name the villagers use. To them, it has always been simply home. The valley rests within a ring of mountains whose peaks remain hidden by drifting clouds for much of the year. Only one road enters. Only one road leaves. Not because the village is isolated, but because the surrounding forests have never needed another path. Generations have walked the same stone road.
Merchants, pilgrims,
Artists,
monks, gardeners,
children chasing dragonflies on warm summer mornings. The road has become smooth with centuries of footsteps. Wildflowers grow beside it every spring. Old pine trees lean gently overhead, creating a living archway that welcomes every traveler into the valley. Long before the village itself becomes visible, visitors notice the air. It feels different, cooler in summer, warmer in winter, always carrying the faint scent of cedar, mountain water, and distant blossoms. Birdsong seems softer here. The wind rarely arrives in sudden gusts. Even silence possesses a comforting quality, as though the valley itself has learned not to speak too loudly. Some believe this calm comes from the surrounding mountains. Others quietly smile and glance toward the dragon. The villagers have never argued over such questions. Certain mysteries lose their importance after enough generations. Beyond the final bend in the road, the valley slowly reveals itself. Raised terraces shimmer beneath the morning sun. Narrow streams weave between small wooden bridges.
Lanterns still glow outside a few homes, their warm light fading only after sunrise.
Roofs covered with dark wooden tiles rise gently among flowering cherry trees. Everything feels carefully placed, not because someone planned the village, because every generation simply built where the valley felt welcoming. No house stands alone. Each home opens toward gardens, small courtyards, or quiet pathways lined with moss-covered stones.
Neighbors rarely need fences.
Flowers naturally mark the spaces between families.
White lilies,
Blue hydrangeas,
crimson maples.
Season after season, the village changes its colors without ever changing its spirit. At the very center stands a broad stone square surrounding an ancient cedar tree. Its trunk is so wide that 6 adults joining hands could scarcely encircle it. No one remembers planting the tree. Some elders insist it grew from a single seed carried upon one of the dragon's earliest breaths. Others claim the cedar was already standing when the dragon chose the valley. Neither story can be proven, neither needs to be. Every morning villagers sweep the square before sunrise,
not because it becomes especially dirty,
because beginning the day with quiet work has always felt appropriate. Children help their grandparents gather fallen leaves. Shopkeepers arrange fresh flowers outside wooden storefronts. Tea houses slide open their doors, allowing the scent of roasted leaves to drift gently into the streets. The village wakes slowly. There are no loud bells announcing the morning.
no hurried crowds,
No shouting merchants. Only the quiet rhythm of ordinary life unfolding beneath extraordinary circumstances. A baker places warm bread upon cooling racks beside an open window. A potter carefully arranges newly fired bowls beneath a shaded awning.
Gardeners trim flowering shrubs bordering narrow pathways.
A fisherman returns from the mountain lake carrying only enough for the day's meals. Nothing feels rushed. Perhaps living beside something that has slept for thousands of years teaches patience. The people have never seen any reason to hurry through life. One of the first things visitors notice is the absence of fear. Children wander freely through nearby forests. Families picnic beside streams without concern. Lanterns remain outside homes throughout the night. No one speaks about safety because safety has become so ordinary that it is rarely considered. The dragon has shaped the valley in ways that no visitor fully understands. Predators avoid the surrounding woods. Storms soften before crossing the mountains. Even lightning rarely strikes within the valley itself. Whether these things happen because of the dragon or simple coincidence has never truly mattered. The result remains the same: peace. Every season carries its own traditions. Spring begins with lanterns floating gently down the streams. Summer evenings bring quiet festivals beneath rows of glowing paper lanterns. Autumn fills the streets with crimson maple leaves that drift slowly across stone pathways. Winter transforms the valley into a painting of snow-covered rooftops and warm golden windows. Yet one tradition remains unchanged throughout every month of every year. Just before sunset, nearly every villager pauses for a moment. Some stand in gardens, some beside rivers, some upon balconies overlooking the fields. No words are spoken, no ceremony is performed. Everyone simply waits. Then, after a few peaceful moments, a warm breeze passes gently through the valley.
Leaves rustle.
Wind chimes sing. Lantern flames dance softly. The dragon exhales. Children smile without interrupting their games. Adults quietly return to their work. Visitors often glance around in surprise. The villagers barely notice. To them, it is simply evening. Just as sunrise begins another day, the dragon's gentle breath welcomes the night. And somewhere beyond the forests rising above the village, hidden beneath centuries of trees and moss and wildflowers, the great guardian continues dreaming beneath an endless sky. If the dragon is the silent guardian of the valley, then the river is its storyteller. It begins somewhere high among the forests, covering the dragon's back.
No one has ever found its true source.
The stream simply appears each morning, clear and cold, winding gently through moss-covered stones before descending into the valley below. Children are often told that the river follows the dragon's dreams. Wherever pleasant dreams wander, fresh water quietly follows. Whether anyone believes the story hardly matters. It is simply a beautiful way of describing something no one can explain. By the time the river reaches the village, it has become the heart of everyday life. Small wooden bridges cross at every few hundred steps.
Stone paths follow its gentle curves.
Willow trees lean gracefully over its banks, their branches brushing softly against the moving water. In spring, cherry blossom petals drift along its surface like tiny pink boats beginning long, peaceful journeys. During autumn, crimson maple leaves replace the blossoms, turning the river into a slow-moving ribbon of gold and scarlet. Every season leaves its own reflection behind. The villagers have built very little directly beside the water, not because they fear floods. The river has never overflowed within living memory. Instead, they simply believe that every beautiful thing deserves room to breathe. Gardens sit a respectful distance away.
Tea houses overlook the water rather than crowding it.
Even market stalls leave wide-open paths where visitors can stop without blocking those wishing only to watch the river pass. Many travelers unknowingly spend hours doing exactly that.
Watching, listening,
doing nothing at all. The tea houses nearest the river are among the oldest buildings in the valley. Their wooden beams have darkened over centuries.
Their paper windows glow softly each evening beneath rows of lanterns.
Inside, little has changed for generations. Low wooden tables, tatami floors, quiet conversations, fresh tea poured slowly into warm ceramic cups. The owners rarely speak loudly.
There has never been any reason to.
Even visitors naturally lower their voices after stepping inside. It is difficult to explain. The valley itself seems to encourage gentleness.
Some places ask for silence.
This place simply inspires it. One particular tea house sits upon a bend where the river briefly widens before continuing through the village. Its veranda extends over the water, allowing guests to sit with their feet just above the gentle current. Visitors often arrive intending to stay only long enough for a single cup of tea. Many remain until evening. Some forget the time entirely. The owner never rushes anyone. If a traveler wishes to spend an afternoon listening to water and watching drifting leaves, that seems reason enough. There is an old custom practiced throughout the valley. Whenever someone arrives from far away, the first cup of tea is served without asking questions.
No one asks where the traveler came from.
No one asks why they arrived. The valley believes journeys deserve rest before explanation. Only after the second cup do conversations naturally begin. Sometimes they last minutes, sometimes hours. Occasionally, they never happen at all. Both are considered equally acceptable.
Beyond the tea houses, narrow stone paths continue towards small gardens hidden between homes.
Nearly every family tends one. Some grow vegetables.
Others grow herbs.
Many grow flowers simply because they enjoy seeing them bloom. There are no competitions for the finest garden, no prizes,
no judges.
Each garden quietly reflects the family caring for it. Some appear carefully arranged. Others grow almost wild. One is filled entirely with white lilies.
Another with fragrant herbs whose scent drifts through nearby streets each afternoon.
Another contains nothing but smooth stones gathered from the river over many generations. Children often help care for these gardens from an early age, not through strict lessons. Simply by watching their parents, they learn how deeply to plant seeds, how gently to water young flowers,
how to trim branches without harming the tree.
Much of the valley's knowledge passes this way,
quietly, patiently,
without anyone announcing that learning is taking place. The same can be said for respect toward the dragon. No formal rule forbids climbing upon its resting body. No signs mark forbidden paths. No guards patrol the forests above the village. Yet every child somehow understands. The higher forests belong to the dragon. People may walk there, gather fallen branches, visit the mountain shrines, but they do so gently.
Voices remain soft.
Campfires remain small.
Nothing unnecessary is left behind.
The villagers often compare it to visiting the home of an elderly friend. You behave with care not because someone demands it, but because kindness feels natural. As afternoon slowly becomes evening, golden sunlight filters through cedar branches surrounding the valley. The river glows like polished amber. Wind carries the scent of pine, warm earth, and fresh tea. Shopkeepers begin hanging lanterns outside their doors. Bridges reflect softly upon the quiet water. Far above the village, hidden beneath forests older than memory, the dragon remains asleep. Then, almost too gently to notice, another warm breeze drifts through the valley. The willow branches sway.
The river ripples. Wind chimes answer one another across distant rooftops.
Somewhere beyond the trees the dragon breathes again.
No one pauses this time.
No one points toward the mountains. The breath has become as familiar as birds returning each morning. Life simply continues beneath it.
Steady, peaceful.
As though the entire valley has learned to breathe alongside the oldest guardian it has ever known. Long before sunrise reaches the rooftops of the village, another part of the valley has already awakened, the dragon gardens. Unlike the family gardens scattered throughout the village, these terraces belong to everyone.
No walls surround them.
No gates protect them. No names mark individual plots.
The gardens have been cared for together for so many generations that no one remembers who first planted them.
Some say the earliest villagers began with only a handful of herbs beside a spring. Others believe the gardens slowly appeared wherever the dragon's warm breath touched the earth. Whatever their beginning, they now cover an entire hillside resting beside one of the dragon's folded wings. At dawn, The first light of morning arrives there before anywhere else in the valley. Golden sunlight slips gently through rows of cedar trees. Morning mist lingers between flowering paths. Tiny drops of dew gather upon leaves so perfectly that every garden seems decorated with thousands of tiny stars. The villagers arrive quietly, not because silence is expected,
because the morning naturally invites it. Some carry woven baskets.
Others bring watering cans carved from old cedar wood. A few simply come to enjoy the cool air before beginning the rest of their day. No one is assigned a section. People naturally drift toward whatever needs care. A vine climbing too far across a stone wall. A flower bed waiting to be watered. A narrow path covered with fallen petals. The work somehow distributes itself without discussion. Visitors often find this remarkable. How does everyone know what to do?
The villagers usually laugh softly. After enough mornings, they explain. Your hands begin noticing what your eyes overlook.
The dragon gardens are unlike ordinary gardens elsewhere. Many plants found here grow nowhere beyond the valley. One small white flower blooms only beside warm stones where the dragon's breath lingers longest. Its petals open shortly before sunrise and quietly close again before noon. Nearby grows a deep blue moss that remains cool even beneath the brightest summer afternoons. Children enjoy touching it during warm weather, believing it somehow remembers winter. The oldest gardeners never correct them.
Perhaps it does.
Rows of fragrant herbs line gentle terraces overlooking the valley below. Lavender,
mountain mint, wild chrysanthemum,
soft green tea shrubs. Their scents blend together so naturally that walking through the gardens feels almost like wandering through quiet music. Every season rearranges the fragrance. Spring carries blossoms. Summer brings fresh herbs. Autumn fills the air with cedar and maple. Winter leaves only the clean scent of snow and pine. Each is welcomed equally. Near the center of the garden stands a circular pond no larger than a village square. The water remains perfectly still throughout most of the day, not because there is no wind, because tall flowering trees shelter it from every direction. Bright orange koi move lazily beneath floating lily pads. Dragonflies skim quietly across the surface. Many visitors mistake the pond for decoration. The villagers gently explain otherwise. The pond is where everyone begins. Each morning before tending the gardens, people pause there for a few peaceful moments. No prayers, no rituals, only stillness. Some watch the reflections upon the water. Some listen to birds hidden among nearby branches. Others simply breathe. The custom has continued for centuries. No one remembers who began it. No one has ever suggested ending it. The dragon gardens also contain the valley's oldest greenhouse, built entirely from polished cedar and delicate glass. It shelters plants too fragile for mountain winters. Inside, warm sunlight filters gently through countless panes. Tiny citrus trees fill the air with fresh fragrance. Rare orchids bloom beside climbing vines older than many houses in the village. Even during heavy snowfall, the greenhouse remains filled with quiet shades of green. Its warmth comes not from fireplaces, nor from hidden furnaces. The dragon's slow breathing passes beneath the hillside through natural caverns deep below. By the time the warmth reaches the greenhouse floor, it has become little more than gentle comfort, enough to protect delicate plants through the coldest nights. The villagers have never attempted to change this gift.
No pipes carry the warmth elsewhere.
No machines collect it. They simply allow nature to share what it already offers. Perhaps that is why the valley has remained peaceful for so long. Nothing is taken. Everything is received with gratitude beyond the greenhouse. Narrow paths continue upward toward the cedar steps. Hundreds of shallow stone stairs wind gently through ancient forests, climbing the dragon's resting shoulder. Travelers often expect a difficult climb. Instead, the steps rise so gradually that the journey feels more like a leisurely walk than a mountain ascent. Every few minutes another small resting place appears. Simple wooden benches, stone lanterns, tiny shrines tucked quietly beneath old trees. The builders understood something important. Beautiful journey should never be rushed. Many villagers spend entire afternoons walking the cedar steps without any intention of reaching the top. The path itself is enough. From certain overlooks, the valley spreads beneath the forest like a painted landscape. Lantern roofs peek through flowering trees. The winding river catches the afternoon sun. Rice terraces shimmer in neat rows of green and gold. Smoke rises peacefully from distant kitchens. Looking down from these quiet resting places, visitors often struggle to believe that the dragon lies only a little farther uphill. Its immense scale refuses to fit comfortably inside the human mind. The forests growing upon its body feel entirely natural. The mountains surrounding it seem timeless. Yet every so often, while sitting upon a shaded bench beside the cedar steps, a gentle warmth drifts through the trees. Leaves rustle. Birds briefly pause their songs. The breeze carries the familiar scent of pine and wildflowers. Far beneath roots older than memory the dragon exhales. The warmth passes slowly through the forest before continuing toward the village below, just as it has every day for countless generations, and the gardens continue blooming beneath the quiet rhythm of its endless dreams. The highest place most villagers ever visit is not the dragon's head, nor its great wings, nor the quiet forest stretching across its back. It is the horned temples. From the valley below, the dragon's great horns resemble distant mountain peaks rising beyond layers of cedar forests. Snow rests upon them through much of the year. Morning clouds often gather around their tips, hiding them until the afternoon sun gently pulls the mist away. Many travelers spend hours searching for the temples. The villagers always smile when they hear this. The temples are impossible to miss. Visitors simply spend so much time admiring the landscape that they forget to keep walking. The journey begins where the cedar steps slowly disappear into older forests. Here the trees grow farther apart. The air becomes cooler. Streams run clearer. Even the birds seem to sing more softly. The forest has changed little for centuries. No one harvests timber here. No fields interrupt the trees. Only narrow stone paths, once smoothed by generations of quiet footsteps, guide travelers deeper into the mountain. The dragon's resting body shapes everything. Its great horn rises naturally from the mountainside, curving toward the heavens before disappearing among clouds. Time has covered it with moss, flowering vines, and ancient pines. At first glance it appears to be nothing more than another weathered cliff. Only after standing beside it does its true scale become impossible to ignore. The smooth curve of the stone, the subtle patterns beneath centuries of moss, the gentle warmth lingering even during winter. The villagers never describe it as bone. They simply call it the White Mountain. The name feels kinder to visitors, kinder to the dragon. The first temple rests halfway along the Hon. It is remarkably small, a single wooden hall, a gently curved roof, stone lanterns lining a short pathway, a bell hanging beneath a cedar beam. Nothing more, nothing less. No grand statues stand within. No golden treasures fill the rooms. Instead, visitors discover open windows overlooking endless forests, tatami mats warmed by afternoon sunlight, fresh flowers placed beside polished wooden pillars. The temple exists not to impress. It exists to provide stillness. The monks who care for the Han temples have lived beside the dragon for so many generations that no written record remembers the first among them. They speak quietly, walk slowly, smile often. Most spend their mornings tending small gardens surrounding the temple. Others maintain the mountain paths, replacing loose stones after heavy rains or clearing fallen branches after winter storms. Travelers sometimes expect the monks to possess secret knowledge about dragons, ancient prophecies, hidden scrolls, great mysteries. Instead, the monks usually offer tea, then ask whether the climb was pleasant. Perhaps that is wisdom enough. Behind the temple, a narrow trail continues higher through scattered pine trees. The air grows noticeably thinner. The forests begin opening into broad meadows filled with wildflowers. Small wooden benches appear beside the path every few hundred steps.
Not because the climb becomes difficult,
because beautiful views deserve places to sit. Each bench faces a different direction. One overlooks the valley, another the surrounding mountains, another the endless sea of forests stretching across the dragon's sleeping back. Visitors rarely hurry between them. Many spend entire afternoons walking only a few hundred meters. The mountain encourages slow journeys. Near the summit stands the bell pavilion.
Unlike ordinary temple bells, this one is never struck.
It hangs silently beneath an open wooden shelter facing the valley far below. Snow sometimes gathers upon its roof during winter. Spring flowers bloom around its steps.
Autumn leaves drift quietly through the open beams, yet the bell remains untouched.
There is an old belief shared throughout the valley. The bell should ring only once, not by human hands, but by the dragon. If the dragon ever awakens and gently brushes the pavilion with one great horn, the bell will sound. No one fears that day. No one eagerly waits for either. The story simply exists.
Like the river, like the forests,
like the dragon itself. A quiet possibility resting peacefully beside everyday life. Children visiting the pavilion always ask the same question. What would the bell sound like?
The monks never answer directly. Some smile.
Some pour another cup of tea. Others simply gesture toward the valley.
Listen. At first the children hear only wind.
Then birds.
Then distant water.
Then the whisper of cedar branches moving together. Eventually they understand. Perhaps the bell has always been ringing, only not in the way people expect. From the bell pavilion, the dragon's immense body becomes easier to imagine. The forests no longer appear random. The valleys begin forming familiar shapes. The broad ridges resemble folded wings. The distant cliffs curve like powerful shoulders resting beneath centuries of earth. Even the winding river seems to trace the edge of one great falling before disappearing into the valley below. The entire landscape slowly rearranges itself inside the visitor's imagination.
Not changing.
Simply revealing what had always been there. As evening approaches, golden light washes gently across the white mountain. The temple roofs glow warmly beneath the setting sun. Clouds drift lazily around the dragon's great horn before slowly descending toward the forests below. The monks begin lighting stone lanterns one by one. Their soft amber glow stretches along the mountain path like a quiet invitation guiding travelers home. Then, just as the final lantern is lit, the familiar warmth arrives. Not suddenly,
not dramatically.
A slow breath rises through the forests. The pine branches sway. Tiny prayer ribbons flutter gently beneath the pavilion roof. Wildflowers bow almost imperceptibly before standing upright once more. The warmth lingers only a few moments before continuing down the mountain, toward the gardens, toward the river, toward the village waiting beneath countless glowing lanterns. And high upon the white mountain, beside a bell that has never been struck, the people quietly watch the valley below as the oldest guardian they have ever known continues dreaming beneath the evening sky. If visitors remember the Hon temples, they remember the dragon markets, not because they are larger, not because they are louder, but because nowhere else in the world feels quite the same. The market opens only 3 mornings each week, not from necessity. The villagers simply discovered long ago that life should never become so busy that every day begins to resemble the next. Market mornings therefore feel almost like quiet celebrations. Before sunrise, warm lanterns begin appearing one by one beneath long wooden awnings. Shopkeepers carefully slide open cedar shutters. Fresh flowers are placed into simple clay pots. Small paper banners sway gently above narrow streets. Nothing feels rushed. The market seems to awake in the same way the valley itself does.
Slowly, peacefully,
as the first light reaches the rooftops, the aroma of breakfast quietly spreads through every corner of the square.
Steamed rice, fresh mountain herbs,
warm bread baked before dawn, sweet bean pastries cooling beside open windows, tea leaves gently roasting over low charcoal fires. The scents mingle together until it becomes impossible to separate one from another. Visitors often claim they can remember the fragrance of the Dragon Market years after leaving the valley. The streets themselves are surprisingly narrow. Two people carrying baskets may comfortably walk side by side. Three would politely step aside for one another. The villagers have never widened them.
Wide roads encourage hurried walking. Narrow streets encourage gentle wandering.
That, they believe, is enough reason to leave them exactly as they are. Every shop has remained within the same family for generations, not because ownership is required, because no one has wished to leave.
The basket maker now uses the same workshop once occupied by her grandmother. The lantern craftsman still carves cedar frames upon the workbench built by his grandfather.
The tea merchant pours visitors the same mountain blend that families have prepared for centuries. Nothing feels trapped in the past. Nothing feels modern merely for the sake of appearing modern.
The village changes.
Only slowly, only when change feels natural. Perhaps living beside a dragon teaches patience in every part of life. Near the center of the market stands the lantern street. Long wooden beams stretch overhead, supporting hundreds of handmade lanterns. Every family contributes one lantern each year. Some are painted with mountain flowers, some with rivers, some with cranes flying through autumn skies. Many depict the dragon itself, not as a fierce guardian, but peacefully asleep beneath forests and clouds. Children eagerly wait for the evening when the new lanterns are first lit. Entire families gather together beneath the glowing ceiling of warm golden light. Older lanterns are never discarded. Instead, they are carefully restored whenever their paper begins wearing thin. Some lanterns hanging above the street are older than anyone alive. Their colors have softened with time. Their paper has been replaced many times.
Yet the paintings remain.
Generation after generation, watching quietly over everyone walking below. Visitors are often surprised that the market sells almost nothing unusual.
There are no magical crystals, no enchanted swords,
no mysterious relics. Instead, there are beautifully crafted bowls, fresh vegetables,
tea, handmade brushes,
warm blankets woven from mountain wool, wooden toys carved into birds and foxes.
Simple things, useful things.
Things made carefully enough to last many years. One elderly carpenter has become famous throughout nearby valleys for building chairs. Nothing more. Simply chairs. People travel for days to purchase one, not because they are expensive, because they are comfortable. Each chair is shaped according to the natural curves of cedar branches rather than forcing the wood into unnatural forms. The carpenter often smiles while working. The tree already knew how the chair wished to look. Visitors laugh gently,
then sit down.
Usually they understand. The Dragon Market also contains the valley's oldest clock. Unlike the grand clocks found in distant cities, this one possesses only a single wooden hand.
It marks the passing of the day without concern for individual minutes. Morning,
midday,
evening, night.
That is enough. The villagers rarely ask what time it is. Instead, they ask, has the afternoon reached the tea houses yet?
Or has evening reached the river?
Time feels less like numbers, more like places slowly moving through the valley.
At the far edge of the market sits perhaps its quietest corner, the story bench. It is nothing remarkable, only a long cedar bench overlooking a small square where children often gather after sunset. Every evening, one elder from the village sits there, not because anyone asks them to,
because someone always has another story worth sharing. Some evenings they speak of mountain spirits. Other evenings they remember unusually beautiful winters. Sometimes they simply describe how different the valley looked 50 years ago. Children listen. Travelers listen.
Even adults pause while walking home.
The stories are never dramatic. No great battles. No terrible monsters. No heroes saving kingdoms. The valley has always preferred smaller stories. The story of the cedar tree that survived 100 winters. The story of the fisherman who became friends with a crane. The story of the lantern carried by 7 generations of the same family. The dragon appears in many of these tales, yet rarely as the main character. Instead, it is always there in the background, sleeping,
breathing,
watching over lives that quietly bloom and fade beneath its endless dreams. As sunset approaches, the market slowly begins closing, not because darkness arrives. The lanterns are only beginning to glow, rather because everyone knows where they wish to be when evening fully settles across the valley.
At home,
beside family,
near warm tea,
listening for the familiar breath that is welcomed every night for longer than memory itself. One by one, the shopkeepers extinguish cooking fires. Wooden shutters gently close. Footsteps grow fewer. Lanterns become brighter. Then, just as the first stars appear above the mountains, a warm breeze drifts peacefully through Lantern Street. Hundreds of paper lanterns sway together. Tiny bells hanging beneath their wooden frames answer one another with soft music.
The evening breath has arrived.
No announcement is needed. The valley has simply reached another beautiful ending to another ordinary day beneath. The oldest guardian it has ever known. Every village has a place where its oldest memories gather. In this valley, that place is not a library, nor a temple, nor the marketplace. It is the Dragon Trail. The trail begins quietly beyond the final house on the northern edge of the village. There is no great gate announcing its entrance, only a weathered cedar sign polished smooth by countless seasons of rain. Upon it are carved 4 simple words.
Asterisk walk as the forest does.
Asterisk, no one explains what the sentence means. Visitors discover its meaning naturally. The trail winds slowly upward through the dragon's resting wing.
Unlike the cedar steps, which lead toward the Horn temples, the Dragon Trail follows no obvious destination. It circles.
It wanders. Sometimes it seems to return upon itself before continuing in another direction. The villagers often say the trail was never built. It simply appeared where people preferred walking, generation after generation,
footstep after footstep, until the earth remembered.
Moss covers much of the pathway, soft enough that footsteps become almost silent. Ancient cedar roots cross beneath smooth stones like gentle waves frozen in time. Fern leaves lean toward the morning light. Tiny streams appear unexpectedly beside the path before disappearing once more beneath carpets of moss. Nothing along the Dragon Trail asks to be admired.
It simply exists,
patiently, as though it has all the time in the world.
Which perhaps it does.
The dragon certainly seems to. Every few hundred steps another resting place appears. Some are little more than a flat stone overlooking the valley. Others consist of small wooden platforms sheltered beneath enormous cedar branches. Each offers a different view. One looks across the dragon's folded wing where forests stretch endlessly toward distant mountains.
Another overlooks the village itself.
Lantern roofs appear almost toy-like from this height. Thin ribbons of smoke drift upward from kitchens preparing the evening meal. The river winds gently through fields before disappearing into forests beyond sight. Visitors often sit longer than they intended, not because they become tired, because the valley quietly convinces them there's nowhere else they need to be. Halfway along the trail stands something the villagers call the listening tree. It is older than every building in the valley, older than the temples,
older, some quietly believe, than the village itself.
Its trunk twists gently toward the sky before dividing into countless heavy branches spreading in every direction. The roots disappear beneath thick carpets of moss. Some are so large they resemble sleeping serpents resting beneath fallen leaves. No one cuts branches from the listening tree. Even those that fall naturally remain where they land until the forest slowly reclaims them.
Children often ask why. The elders simply answered as listened longer than we have spoken.
Visitors frequently lean against the great trunk expecting to hear something unusual. Some claim they hear only wind.
Others hear birds.
A few insist they hear the dragon breathing somewhere far beneath the earth. The villagers never argue. The listening tree gives everyone exactly what they arrive prepared to hear. Beyond the tree, the forest gradually changes. Pines become taller. Sunlight grows softer beneath thicker branches. Wildflowers appear in smaller numbers while moss begins covering nearly everything. Entire fallen logs disappear beneath rich green blankets so soft they resemble velvet. Stone lanterns emerge beside the trail at irregular intervals. Many lean gently after centuries of weather. Tiny ferns now grow from cracks in their ancient foundations. No one straightens them.
Age is welcomed here, not corrected.
Among these lanterns rests one of the valley's most peaceful traditions. Once each year, every family places a single small lantern somewhere along the Dragon Trail. No names are written upon them.
No prayers attached.
Nothing asks for recognition. The lanterns simply glow together for one evening beneath the ancient trees. Some honor grandparents. Some celebrate children born that year. Others remember dear friends who have traveled beyond the valley forever. By sunrise, every lantern has burned itself out. The villagers quietly collect them. The forest returns to silence. The memory remains.
Near the highest point of the Dragon Trail lies a meadow unlike any other in the valley.
The trees suddenly open. Sunlight pours gently across long grasses that sway with every passing breeze. Thousands of tiny white flowers bloom there each spring. By summer they become soft fields of green. Autumn turns them pale gold. Winter hides them beneath fresh snow. At the center of the meadow rests an enormous emerald scale, half buried, covered by moss, longer than an entire fishing boat. Visitors often mistake it for polished stone, until sunlight catches its surface. Then faint patterns shimmer beneath centuries of weather.
The villagers call it the first scale. No one knows when it came to rest there.
Perhaps the dragon shed it while sleeping long ago. Perhaps it has always been part of the valley. Children enjoy sitting upon its smooth surface during warm afternoons.
It holds the day's warmth well into evening.
Older villagers sometimes do the same, not because of legends, simply because it is a comfortable place to watch clouds drift across the sky. The dragon has never seemed to mind. From the meadow, the sleeping guardian feels strangely close. The forests no longer hide its immense shape. The gentle rise of one folded wing becomes unmistakable. The long curve of its neck disappears toward distant mountains. Yet despite standing so near, the dragon never feels overwhelming.
Only peaceful.
As though enormous size and perfect gentleness have somehow learned to exist together. Then, while afternoon slowly begins yielding to evening, the familiar warmth arrives once more. This time it reaches the meadow before anywhere else. The grasses ripple in slow waves. White flowers bow together like quiet greetings.
Leaves whisper softly overhead.
Even the moss upon the first scale seems to shimmer beneath the passing breath. The warmth lingers only a moment, then continues downward through the forest, toward the listening tree, toward the stone lanterns, toward the winding trail, toward the village where evening lanterns have already begun glowing one by one. The meadow grows still again. Birdsong slowly returns. The clouds continue drifting overhead, and beneath forests that have patiently covered its resting body for countless generations, the ancient dragon dreams on, never knowing that an entire valley has quietly learned to build its life around the gentle rhythm of every peaceful breath. Part 4a***. If there is one place the villagers visit more than any other, it is neither the market, nor the temples, nor even the Dragon Trail. It is the valley springs. Long before the dragon became part of the village's oldest stories, water was already shaping the land. Over countless centuries, clear springs emerged wherever the dragon's warmth gently met the cool mountain stone beneath the valley. One spring became two.
Two became 10.
Eventually, dozens of small pools and winding streams quietly appeared throughout the forests.
Some were no larger than a wooden barrel.
Others reflected entire groves of cedar trees.
Each possessed its own quiet character.
One remained shaded throughout the year. Another reflected sunrise before any other place in the valley. One carried water so clear that smooth river stones appeared suspended in air. Children often tried reaching through the surface, surprised each time by the gentle splash. The villagers never named every spring. There were simply too many. Instead, they referred to them by memories. The spring of grandmother's tea.
The spring where we first met.
The spring beside the white pines. Every family carried different names.
Every name carried its own story.
The largest spring rested near the center of the valley beneath a circle of ancient maple trees.
Its surface remained astonishingly calm.
Even during windy afternoons, only the smallest ripples crossed the water. The villagers believed the spring reflected not the sky but patience itself. Many people visited without speaking. Some brought books.
Others carried sketch pads.
A few simply sat quietly beneath the maples while dragonflies skimmed across the still water.
Nothing remarkable happened there.
That was precisely why everyone loved it. The valley never tried to impress anyone. It simply welcomed those willing to slow down.
Beside the largest spring stood a modest bathhouse built almost entirely from cedar wood.
Steam drifted gently through open windows throughout every season. The warmth came naturally from deep beneath the earth where the dragon's sleeping breath quietly passed through ancient stone. No fires were needed, no great furnaces, only patience.
The bathhouse itself reflected the village. Simple, beautiful,
unhurried. Visitors removed their sandals upon polished wooden steps before entering long hallways scented with cedar and fresh herbs. Paper lanterns glowed softly along the walls. Small flower arrangements rested in quiet corners. Nothing called attention to itself.
Everything invited calm.
Large windows overlooked the surrounding forests. While warm water embraced tired muscles, the only sounds came from flowing springs, distant birds, and leaves gently moving beyond the glass. Some travelers claimed these baths were the finest in the world.
The villagers politely disagreed.
Not because they lacked pride.
Because they believed every peaceful place was beautiful in its own way.
One afternoon, an elderly traveler reportedly thanked the bathkeeper for creating such remarkable waters.
The old woman laughed kindly. "We made the roof," she replied.
The mountain made the rest. The bathkeeper had worked there for nearly 60 years.
Every morning before sunrise she walked the surrounding paths gathering fresh cedar, branches, and mountain herbs.
She changed the flowers near the entrance each day. Sometimes white lilies, sometimes mountain orchids, sometimes only simple green branches after heavy rain. She believed guests should notice the changing seasons before noticing the building itself. Many returned year after year, not because the bathhouse had changed,
because it never tried to.
Beyond the bathhouse stretched quiet stone paths connecting dozens of smaller springs hidden beneath forests. Some pools were known only to nearby families. Others welcomed anyone passing by. Tiny wooden bridges crossed gentle streams. Stone lanterns watched silently beneath flowering trees.
Occasionally visitors discovered small, bamboo fountains where clear water slowly spilled into polished basins before continuing its endless journey downhill.
The sound became part of the valley's music.
Water, wind, birdsong, breathing.
None competed with one another. They simply existed together. The dragon springs also nourished many of the valley's oldest traditions. During the first warm morning of spring, children floated tiny wooden boats carrying flower petals across the water.
Each boat represented a hope for the coming year.
Some wished for good harvests, others for healthy grandparents. Some wished only for many afternoons spent fishing beside the river. The boats drifted quietly until disappearing beneath flowering branches. No one chased after them. Hopes, the elders often said, should travel freely. Throughout summer, families gathered beside shaded pools for afternoon picnics. Fresh fruit,
rice wrapped in bamboo leaves, cold mountain tea.
Children skipped smooth stones across quiet water while grandparents rested beneath maples older than memory.
Nothing extraordinary happened.
The valley had never believed extraordinary moments were necessary for happiness. Ordinary moments, shared gently, proved more than enough.
As daylight slowly softened toward evening, golden reflections spread across every spring throughout the valley.
The forests glowed, the streams shimmered. Warm lanterns began appearing one by one beside narrow pathways leading home. Then, almost unnoticed, another gentle breath drifted across the water. Steam rose slightly higher from the bathhouse pools.
Tiny ripples crossed the largest spring.
Maple leaves turned softly in the passing breeze. For a few peaceful moments, the entire valley seemed to inhale and exhale together. The dragon remained asleep. The springs continued flowing, and beneath countless reflections of the evening sky, life carried on exactly as it always had.
Quietly, gratefully,
patiently. When the sun finally slips behind the western mountains, the valley begins its favorite hour.
Not morning, not midday,
twilight. There is a belief shared quietly among the villagers that every place has one moment each day when it becomes most itself. For the Dragon Valley, that moment arrives just after sunset. The sky has not yet become dark. The stars have not yet appeared. The mountains become silhouettes painted against deep shades of violet and amber. Soft mist rises from the rivers and springs. The first lanterns awaken. It is as though the valley takes one slow breath before welcoming the night.
Throughout the village, the lantern keepers begin their evening walk.
There's no official order to the route.
There never has been.
Each keeper simply follows the same streets their parents once walked, and before them their grandparents. They carry long cedar poles with small hooks carefully carved into the ends. One by one, lanterns are lowered. Fresh candles are lit. The lanterns rise once more beneath wooden awnings, bridges, garden gates, and quiet pathways.
No electric lights compete with them.
The villagers have never wished for brighter nights. They prefer gentle darkness, a darkness softened by warm amber light. Children often accompany the lantern keepers during their first years, not to help,
simply to learn. They watch carefully.
How gently each lantern is lowered.
How the old wick is replaced.
How soot is cleaned from the glass. How every lantern receives exactly the same quiet attention. No one rushes. A lantern, the elders say, should never feel hurried. Soon the entire village begins glowing. Golden reflections shimmer upon the river. The dragon market transforms into rows of floating lights beneath dark cedar roofs. Stone pathways become ribbons of warm color winding gently between gardens. From the surrounding hillsides, the valley resembles a constellation resting upon the earth. Visitors often climb nearby overlooks simply to watch the first lanterns appear. Some compare the sight to stars falling into the valley. Others say it resembles fireflies gathering beside the river. The villagers rarely compare it to anything.
To them it simply looks like home.
As twilight deepens, another tradition quietly begins.
The evening walk.
No festival announces it.
No bell calls people outside.
Families simply leave their homes after supper. Some walk beside the river. Others wander through the dragon gardens. Many follow familiar streets they have walked thousands of times before, not because they have somewhere to go.
Because walking together feels like the proper ending to a peaceful day.
Conversations remain soft. Children occasionally run ahead before patiently waiting beneath the next lantern. Elderly couples walk arm in arm beneath flowering trees. Friends pause beside bridges to watch koi drifting through the water below. Even travelers who intended to rest inside their inns often find themselves joining the slow procession without quite realizing why. The valley seems to invite movement without destination. Near the center of the village stands the moon bridge. It is not the largest bridge, nor the oldest, yet it is perhaps the most loved. Its graceful wooden arch rises gently over the widest part of the river. From its highest point, nearly every lantern in the village becomes visible. The reflections below often outnumber the stars above. Many people pause there each evening. Some remain only a few moments,
others until the first constellations appear overhead.
There is never a crowd. The bridge somehow always leaves enough room for everyone. Beyond the moon bridge lies Lantern Hill, a gentle slope overlooking the entire valley. Children spread blankets upon the grass during warm evenings. Grandparents bring small baskets of tea and sweet rice cakes. Artists quietly sketch the glowing village below. Musicians sometimes play bamboo flutes so softly that the melodies seem to drift with the evening breeze. No performances are announced.
No audience gathers.
The music simply becomes another part of twilight,
joining the river, the wind, the insects,
the distant breathing of the dragon. As darkness settles fully across the mountains, something subtle begins happening throughout the forests. Tiny lights appear among the trees, not lanterns, fireflies, thousands of them. They emerge slowly from grasses surrounding the dragon springs before drifting upward beneath ancient cedar branches. Children chase them only once. Every child learns the same lesson. Fireflies stay longer when left undisturbed.
After that they simply watch.
The forests become rivers of quiet green light flowing between dark trunks. From the highest overlooks, the fireflies almost appear to answer the village lanterns below. Golden lights upon the ground, green lights within the forest, stars above. The valley rests gently between them all. Then, almost as though every evening has been quietly preparing for this single moment, the dragon breathes. Not loudly,
not dramatically,
only a long, slow, warm breath. The breeze moves through Lantern Hill first.
Blankets flutter softly.
Cherry blossom branches sway, though no storm follows. The warmth carries the familiar scent of cedar, spring water, and mountain earth. Then it continues downward, across the moon bridge, through Lantern Street, over quiet gardens, past the dragon springs. Every lantern flame dances gently as the warm air passes. Thousands of tiny lights bow together for only a heartbeat before standing still once more. The villagers rarely stop walking.
The breath has become part of evening itself,
as natural as moonrise,
as expected as the stars.
Only visitors remain perfectly still, watching the lanterns shimmer together, listening to the valley grow quiet once more. Far above them, hidden beneath forests older than kingdoms, the dragon continues sleeping,
never asking for thanks, never expecting remembrance,
only breathing,
slowly, patiently,
as it has through every lantern ever lit,
every child ever born,
every season ever welcomed. And beneath the glow of countless golden lights, the little village settles gently into another peaceful night beneath the oldest guardian it has ever known. There's one day each year when the entire valley wakes before the sun, not because of celebration, not because of urgency, but because the dragon is believed to dream more deeply on that morning than on any other. The villagers simply call it the Day of Quiet Wings. No one knows when the tradition began. There are no written records describing its first celebration.
The oldest scrolls mention it only in passing, as though everyone already understood.
Asterisk tomorrow the quiet wings begin.
Asterisk nothing more.
No explanation.
No origin.
Perhaps some traditions become so old that asking where they began no longer matters. Preparations start the evening before. Lanterns are cleaned until every pane of glass shines like still water. Fresh flowers are gathered from the dragon gardens.
The market closes earlier than usual. Even the bathhouse welcomes its final guests before sunset.
The village prefers entering the festival slowly,
peacefully, without rushing toward it.
As darkness settles across the valley, every household prepares one small lantern unlike the others they use throughout the year. These lanterns are made entirely from thin white paper. No painted flowers, no family crests, no colorful designs, only soft white light. The villagers say that dreams should never be interrupted by bright colors. Morning arrives quietly. Long before sunrise, the village already glows beneath hundreds of gentle white lanterns. Mist lingers over the fields. The river moves silently between sleeping gardens. The mountains remain hidden behind pale clouds. Even the birds delay their morning songs. The valley feels suspended between night and day. Families step outside carrying warm tea. Children speak in whispers. Travelers instinctively lower their voices without understanding why. The silence does not feel strict. It feels shared, a gift everyone offers together.
No bells ring throughout the village.
No music fills the streets, only footsteps upon stone.
The rustle of cedar branches.
The slow current of the river. The quiet breathing of the dragon somewhere beyond the forests. As the eastern horizon slowly brightens, the villagers begin walking toward Lantern Hill, not in long processions, not in organized lines. Small groups naturally find one another.
Neighbors,
grandparents with grandchildren, friends carrying woven baskets, travelers who happen to arrive the previous evening. Everyone walks together. The path fills gently without ever feeling crowded. Upon reaching Lantern Hill, they discover that nothing extraordinary has been prepared.
No stage,
no banners, no great ceremony, only open grass overlooking the sleeping valley below.
The people quietly spread blankets across the hillside.
Fresh tea is poured, warm bread is shared.
Children curl beside their parents watching morning mist drift across the rooftops.
The festival begins simply by being together. As sunlight finally reaches the highest mountain peaks, something beautiful happens throughout the valley. One by one the white lanterns are gently extinguished.
Not because daylight makes them unnecessary.
Because their purpose has ended. The villagers believe every dream deserves its own sunrise. The lanterns have accompanied the dragon through another peaceful night. Now they quietly rest until next year. The morning continues without speeches,
without announcements.
Families wander through the dragon gardens carrying baskets filled with seasonal fruit. Children float tiny flower boats across the springs. Artists set up easels overlooking the valley. Writers open journals beneath maple trees. The dragon remains asleep through all of it, perhaps dreaming, perhaps not. No one claims to know. Around midday, another quiet tradition begins. The story cloth. Near the old cedar tree in the village square, an enormous length of white fabric is carefully stretched between polished wooden posts. Every family contributes a single painted image each year. Not words, only pictures. A flowering tree,
a favorite mountain,
a fishing boat upon the river, a grandmother's teacup, a crane flying above autumn forests. Children eagerly search for their own families' painting from previous years. The cloth grows longer every spring, longer every generation. It has become less of a festival decoration and more of a living memory. Visitors walking beside it slowly realize something unusual. The dragon rarely appears. At first this feels surprising. Surely a festival honoring the dragon would be filled with paintings of scales, wings, and great horns. Instead, the cloth tells another story.
It celebrates ordinary life, gardens, tea, families,
bridges, rain,
harvests,
sunrise over the river. The dragon appears only occasionally, always resting peacefully in the background, exactly where it has always been. The elders often explain this gently. The dragon protects our lives.
So today we celebrate the lives it protects.
The afternoon passes almost unnoticed. People wander,
Talk quietly.
share food, listen to children laughing beside the springs. The valley asks for nothing more. Then, as the sun slowly begins descending once again toward the western mountains, everyone naturally finds themselves looking upward, not because they expect the dragon to awaken, because they know evening is approaching, and evening has always belonged to the dragon. High above Lantern Hill, clouds drift lazily across the immense forests covering its resting wings. Golden light settles upon distant pines. The valley grows quieter without anyone asking it to.
Somewhere beneath those endless forests, a warm breath slowly begins its familiar journey toward the village below.
The day of quiet wings is nearing its peaceful close, and the oldest guardian in the world continues dreaming, unaware that an entire valley has once again arranged one of its happiest days around the simple rhythm of every gentle breath. When evening finally returns to the valley on the day of quiet wings, no one hurries home. The festival has never ended with fireworks, nor music, nor a grand procession. It ends the same way the valley has always preferred to end its days,
Together.
as the last golden light slowly leaves the mountains. The villagers carry their white lanterns once more. This time, they do not place them beside homes, nor along the streets. Instead, everyone quietly walks toward the River of Dreams. That is what the river is called only on this evening. Tomorrow it will once again become simply the river. Names, the elders often say, are sometimes meant only for certain moments.
The banks become softly illuminated by hundreds of small lanterns, not crowded,
not arranged in perfect lines. Each family chooses its own quiet place, some beneath willow trees, others beside old stone bridges. Many return to the exact same place every year. Children often recognize it before their parents do. There,
our stone, our tree, our little bend in the river.
the places become part of the family itself. Small wooden boats, no larger than two hands placed together, have already been prepared. They are carved from cedar gathered naturally after winter storms. No living tree is cut for them. Each boat carries only three things: a single white lantern, a few flower petals, and one smooth river stone. The lantern represents the present.
The flowers represent the beauty of passing seasons.
The stone represents everything that quietly remains. No speeches explain these meanings. Children simply learn them by watching. As twilight deepens, the first family gently places their little boat upon the water. No signal is given. No bell rings.
Another family follows, then another.
Within minutes, hundreds of tiny lights begin drifting slowly down the river. The current moves gently enough that the lanterns never rush. They simply float, turning quietly beneath bridges, passing gardens, sliding beneath low willow branches. The villagers never follow them very far. Some things, they believe, become more beautiful when allowed to disappear naturally. Visitors often ask where the lanterns finally go. The answer is always the same: to wherever the river wishes to remember them. No one has ever searched. Near the moon bridge, children sit upon the grass counting lanterns until they lose track, not because they wish to know the number, because watching them drift away has become part of growing up. Many adults quietly remember doing exactly the same thing decades earlier.
The river changes. The lanterns change.
The children become parents, then grandparents.
The tradition remains.
Farther upstream, musicians gather beneath old cedars.
There are no performances.
Only gentle melodies, a bamboo flute, a soft wooden harp.
Occasionally the quiet rhythm of a hand drum no louder than distant footsteps.
The music never asks for attention. Sometimes the river becomes louder than the instruments. Sometimes the breeze carries a melody away before listeners hear the final notes. No one minds. Music, like water, was never meant to be held. Night settles completely across the valley. The stars emerge one by one above the mountains.
Their reflections join the drifting lanterns until the river appears to carry two skies at once, one above, one below. Many travelers later confess they no longer remembered which they had been looking at, the heavens
or the water. Perhaps, in that moment, there was little difference. Then comes the final custom of the festival. Without invitation, without announcement, every lantern throughout the village is gently dimmed,
not extinguished,
simply lowered until only the softest glow remains.
The streets become quieter than on any other evening of the year.
The dragon market rests beneath gentle amber light. The tea houses close their paper doors. The bathhouse welcomes its final guests. Even the fireflies seem to drift more slowly through the forests. The entire valley feels as though it has chosen to whisper.
Everyone knows why.
The dragon is sleeping. It always has been. But tonight the valley wishes to return the kindness. For one evening each year, it becomes as quiet as the guardian that has watched over it for centuries. No one believes the dragon hears them. No one believes the dragon notices. That has never been the point. Kindness does not always require an audience. Sometimes it is simply something offered.
Freely, warmly, without expecting anything in return.
Then almost imperceptibly the familiar breath arrives. It begins somewhere high among the forests. The pines sway gently. The warmth slips between ancient trunks. It crosses the dragon trail, passes the listening tree, moves over the dragon gardens,
brushes softly across Lantern Hill,
finally reaching the river below. Hundreds of floating lanterns tremble for only a heartbeat. Tiny reflections shimmer across the water. Flower petals spin gently before continuing downstream. No one speaks. Not because silence is required, because no words could improve the moment. For a little while longer, the valley remains exactly as it has always wished to be.
Peaceful, grateful,
wrapped gently in the quiet breath of the oldest friend it has ever known. And above them, all hidden beneath forests, rivers, meadows, temples, and countless generations of ordinary lives, the ancient dragon sleeps on, dreaming dreams that no one will ever hear, yet somehow sheltering everyone who calls the valley home. Long after the last lantern has disappeared beyond the bend in the river, long after the tea houses have closed their paper doors, long after the final footsteps have faded from the stone streets, the valley does not become silent. It simply begins listening. The mountains listen.
The forests listen.
The river continues carrying quiet reflections toward places no map has ever named. Above them all, the stars slowly cross the night sky with the same patience they have always possessed. Nothing hurries.
Nothing competes.
Nothing asks tomorrow to arrive any sooner.
Within the village, warm light still glows behind a handful of windows.
A grandmother finishes mending a small blanket beside a lantern. A pot of tea remains warm upon a wooden table. Somewhere, a baker quietly prepares dough that will greet the morning. An old fisherman carefully repairs a woven net, though he has no intention of leaving before sunrise. Ordinary life continues. Perhaps that has always been the valley's greatest secret. Living beside something extraordinary has never made the people chase extraordinary lives. Instead, it has taught them to treasure ordinary ones.
The first cup of tea.
The familiar walk across the moon bridge. The scent of cedar after summer rain. Children laughing beside the springs.
Lanterns glowing one by one as evening gently settles across the rooftops.
The dragon never asked them to live this way. The valley simply learned. High upon the dragon trail, the listening tree continues watching over another peaceful night. Its branches sway gently beneath quiet winds. Its roots rest deep within earth, warmed by ancient breaths. Countless generations have leaned against its trunk seeking answers. The tree has never spoken, yet almost everyone leaves feeling lighter than when they arrived. Perhaps some questions are answered simply by sitting still long enough. Farther uphill, the bell pavilion waits beneath moonlight. The old bell hangs exactly where it always has, untouched,
patient.
Snow will gather upon its roof again. Spring flowers will bloom around its steps again. Summer storms will pass quietly overhead again. The bell has never grown impatient.
Neither has the dragon.
The dragon gardens sleep beneath silver moonlight. Dew slowly gathers upon every leaf. Tiny insects move quietly through long grasses. The greenhouse remains comfortably warm, protecting delicate flowers until morning. Some blossoms will open before sunrise. Others will wait until afternoon.
None compare themselves with the others.
Each blooms when its own season arrives. The villagers often believe people should do the same. Along the river, the final lantern from the festival has almost disappeared. Its tiny light becomes smaller.
Then smaller still.
Eventually it joins the stars reflected upon the water until no eye can tell them apart. No one stands waiting for it. No one follows.
The river remembers.
That is enough. Above the valley, clouds drift slowly across the dragon's resting wings. Moonlight paints silver lines along forests covering its immense body. The great horns resemble quiet mountain peaks watching over the sleeping world below. Its folded wings have sheltered generations too numerous to count. Its breathing has welcomed countless winters, countless springs, countless children who became grandparents before returning to the earth beneath flowering trees. The dragon has witnessed all of it, perhaps without ever knowing. There is something strangely comforting about that thought. Not every act of kindness requires intention. Sometimes simply existing peacefully allows others to flourish. The dragon has never offered advice, never spoken wisdom, never performed miracles. It has simply remained, and for one little valley that has always been enough. Perhaps there are places like this beyond the maps we know. Quiet valleys hidden beneath old mountains, ancient forests where rivers still remember forgotten paths.
Little villages where lanterns glow softly against the evening mist.
Perhaps somewhere beneath trees older than history another gentle guardian still sleeps. Or perhaps such places exist only where stories and dreams quietly meet. Either way, they remind us of something easy to forget. The world does not become beautiful because it grows louder. It becomes beautiful because somewhere someone continues tending a garden. Someone continues lighting a lantern. Someone continues brewing tea. Someone continues walking the same peaceful path they walked yesterday. And somewhere something ancient continues breathing.
Patiently, steadily, without asking to be remembered.
As midnight slowly passes into the quiet hours before dawn, the valley settles into another peaceful sleep. The river continues flowing. The forests continue growing. The lanterns continue glowing softly outside wooden homes. Tomorrow, children will once again cross the little bridges on their way to the gardens. The baker will prepare fresh bread before sunrise. The bathhouse will welcome tired travelers. The dragon market will slowly awaken. The evening walk will return. The warm breath will drift gently across the valley once more.
Nothing extraordinary will happen.
And that may be the most extraordinary thing of all, because for countless generations, happiness has not arrived in this valley through great adventures or remarkable discoveries.
It has arrived quietly. One peaceful morning, one shared meal,
one blooming flower, one glowing lantern, one gentle breath at a time.
So if you ever find yourself wandering through forgotten mountains and you notice the wind carrying the scent of cedar and spring water, if you discover a quiet valley where no doors are locked, where lanterns glow softly beneath ancient trees, where every evening seems just a little warmer than it should, pause for a moment. Listen carefully. You may hear nothing at all.
Or perhaps very far away beyond the forests, beyond the rivers, beyond the last lantern, you may hear the slow, peaceful breathing of an ancient dragon still dreaming, still guarding, still sleeping beneath the stars.